Training camp has now officially wrapped up, and we're here to give you all the good stuff from it all. Welcome to Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Nick Eatman, and we got to kick things off with the linebacker position group. I mean, the Cowboys added Eric Kendricks, a vet, to the mix to help lead the change to that position room under new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer. And here's what he had to say after practice.
I feel like I'm always a student at heart, but at the same breath, you know, I have a lot of experience to share, and I'm never going to be stingy with that.
Mike, is familiar with Coach Zimmer specifically as anyone, just what's it been like kind of getting back together with him in this game?
It's been good. You know, obviously I'm familiar with the defense. I'm in the middle of things, very comfortable, and but there's lots to learn. You know, we have different pieces, different components than I'm used to as well. So we have a lot of new stuff being implemented, which I'm excited about, and it forces me to learn as well.
Have you had to do any Zimmer translations for anybody yet? People who are familiar with this
Not honestly, it's cool. It's cool for me because obviously I was with him for a long time, and we had a certain familiarity with the guys that were in the room with us. But him, like myself, you know, we kind of have to go back to the basics of things and reteach things and relearn things from me, and you know, start from the ground up. So I see that approach that he's taking, and I'm taking the same approach.
Eric Kendricks talking, and he spent 7 seasons under Mike Zimmer, another season under playing with the Chargers, and now he's landed in Dallas. So far, you know, it's a little early, Nick, but can you see the difference in that linebacker position group with Eric Kendricks there in the mix?
Well, for him, I mean, he's the new old guy. I mean, he's the guy that's new to the team, but he's the one that really understands Mike's defense more than anybody, and so those are valuable players to have. And, yeah, I think he just brings that kind of swag that they needed, but also that experience knowing where to be, where to line up, and you got that middle linebacker that knows how to put everybody in place. That's like the first step of really getting this defense where he wants it to go.
And talk about you know, knowing where to line up. That was something that Damone Clark really struggled with last year in 2023. But switching gears to Demarvion Overshown, a guy who missed 2023 due to an ACL injury. What's your early thoughts about him so far?
My first thought was that he's not wearing a knee brace. I like that. I like that, but, you know, because it shows that, hey, he's not thinking about it, he's not worried about it, he's not needing it, and so that's always a good start for him. But I just want to see him fly around the ball and make plays. That's what he was doing before he got the injury. That's what he did at Texas, and so Overshown's the type of player that you just want to see when the pads come on, and then also in the preseason games you want to see what he's able to do.
Demarvion Overshown looking to have a breakout year this year, but that front seven as a whole, looking to really make a change and take a leap this year as well under new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer. But how about those defensive tackles? We're breaking that down in the next segment coming up next.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. This segment is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's no question that stopping the run in 2023 was a big issue, especially on the interior. But this year in 2024, the Cowboys are putting their faith in Osa Odighizuwa once again. It's no question about that. But also Mazi Smith, the 2023 first-round pick, who has established himself to have a breakout year in 2024. But how about that depth? The Camping Out crew breaks it all down.
That's easily the biggest concern going into training camp is this defensive tackle situation. Like, not only an unproven one tech that you're going to have to start, whether it be Mazi Smith, 7th-round pick Justin Rogers, or undrafted free agent Denzel Daxon. But you look at the 3-tech position with Osa Odighizuwa, we almost saw it because he was battling a hamstring injury during minicamp. But if he goes down, who's behind him? Are we talking about Chauncey Golston? Are we talking about maybe Marshawn Nealon, Viliami Fehoko? Like, who slides into that role? And I think you would be asking somebody to play out of position to take over for Osa Odighizuwa. So, I mean, that interior defensive line, it is a major concern for me right now overall. But I would like to see what Mazi Smith has to do whenever the pads come on in this preseason. I think it's going to be really, really big for him.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. My bad.
I'm genuinely surprised there hasn't been any added veterans at the one technique, and getting somebody in there, a veteran that could take place of Mazi if need be. But at this point, I think it goes to show the progress that Mazi's made since the end of the season. They know something that we don't. Obviously, without getting a vested veteran in the door right now, but there's still time.
I think they have an ace up their sleeve.
I do believe they have an ace up their sleeve.
Believe so?
As long as the ace that I'm thinking of remains a free agent until they need to pull it out of the sleeve.
Exactly.
Okay? And I've said the name on the podcast, but I'm not going to say it here because now
you?
I can.
Linval Joseph.
I didn't want other teams to.
Yeah, because they're listening.
I was trying to help the crew. Will, McClay, Steven, I was trying to help you guys out by not saying the name.
Other podcasts, but not this one.
Because I can wise up, right? I thought about it, and I was like,
you don't think other scouts and teams know what free agents are available?
I don't know what they're doing in their houses.
Oh,
I'm trying to keep our house in order, right? So, okay, Linval
Like the
Joseph.
Eagles write that down.
Yeah, okay. Well, how he's going to do it, how he does. But we agree. I think that's the ace of the Cowboy sleeve. As long as a guy like Linval Joseph, who obviously has the pre-existing relationship with Mike Zimmer, much like Eric Kendricks had, I think that's great if it were to come to fruition. My question for you, Josh, would be simply this. Yes, I believe the Cowboys, they always know more than we know about the players and the development. And it's showing with Mozzie, for example. Like right now, those questions are slowly starting to be answered, and hopefully they will be answered by the time, camp breaks August 22nd, okay? That being said, even assuming Mozzie pans out, you still have a depth issue as far as
100%.
Who is it? Carl Davis? Is it Denzel Jackson? Is it rookie 7th round pick Justin Rogers? Where does Chauncey Golston fall into that? Going into his contract year, who he needs to have a big year as well. So that's my question. So even if Mozzie Smith and I believe that he definitely, looking at what I'm looking at, I believe that he can be that answer at NT1. But behind him, who? The question is who?
I think the way they're playing it out.
Linval
Joseph aside, I think they're planning on him to be that guy. And if you're a team with a cap issue at the moment, you may not be able to get a Linval Joseph at this point.
Air quotes on that cap issue. Don't get me started.
Possibly in the realm of a cap issue, maybe possibly. But that's what I think. I think after camp, they'll know exactly where Mozzie's at.
This segment was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
We're back here to wrap things up on Inside Cowboys training camp presented by Ford. Now, the Cowboys have added 2 new additions to the wide receiver room, kind of shaking things up a little bit, adding 2 XFL guys, Deontay, Burnett, and Kelvin Harmon. But they've also released Gary and Conley on the defensive side of the ball. Nick, typically we see these XFL guys come in here and some have breakout years, but now, what does this mean, just adding these 2 new guys and releasing one?
Well, I think you just wanted some depth. Ryan Flanoy has been banged up a little bit. Obviously, CD's not here. Everyone knows that. And just these 2 guys, and not only are you getting players, you would say, off the street, but you're getting players that have been playing in the UFL. They've been playing. They should be in good shape, at least to step right in and run the routes and do the things you need to do. Gary and Conley on the flip side there. Really, the story is that he went to the Cowboys and said, he doesn't think that his heart is in it. It's time for him to probably hang it up and retire. And then with that, the Cowboys, granted him his release. But you don't see a lot going on out here with the pads on, but you can see who catches the ball. You can see who's covering. So receivers and corners are 2 positions you can evaluate.
Yeah, as we head into week 2, though, what are you looking forward to seeing from this Cowboys
pads,
team?
hitting, tackling. Because just like I said, the positions like linebacker, like running back, defensive line, offensive line, now you can really see who's moving someone around. It's one thing to be in the right spot, catch the ball, make the right throw. Now that you can get physical.
All right, well, we are finished up week 1. We've got about 3.5 more to go. A lot more time here to assess this Cowboys team.
Can't be counting too early.
I know.
Yeah, you just got to keep grinding here. It's a long ways to go.
Long ways to go, and we'll be here for it all here on Inside Cowboys Training Camp presented by Ford. We'll see you back here on Monday in Oxnard.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.